All right, let's go ahead and get started. Welcome, everyone. My name is Tammy Seifert, and I'm the Chief Business Officer here at Dido. And I'm very pleased today to have with me Ben Palacio, who's the Senior IT Analyst for Enterprise Solutions at Placer County, one of our valued customers, and also John Harvey, who is a Cloud Engineer at Google Cloud. I'll quickly go over the agenda. So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about basically introductions, who Dido is, what we do, Placer County's story about how they've utilized Chatbot in their technology journey for the county in California. And then we'll do some Google Cloud backend, talk about the technologies that support Chatbot, and then we'll get into some Q&A. And if you could hold your Q&A until the end, we will make some time to be sure that we get to your questions right at the end as we wrap up the webinar. And a little bit about Dido. So again, I'm the Chief Business Officer, Tammy Seifert, and we've been in business for about 12 years now and over 10 years as a premier partner with Google. So we basically support all of Google's product lines across the board, from cloud and maps into G Suite. We provide services and solutions to our customers to help them actually optimize the great technology that Google is bringing out to the marketplace. Some of the things that we provide: cloud migration, data warehousing, analytics, location-based services. We've got great depth of knowledge on the maps services from Google, app modernization, data sciences, and cloud collaboration. So again, pretty much across the board, we can provide any of the services that you are looking for to be able to take Google's technology, integrate that into your digital transformation journey moving forward. We have product development, and what we'll be talking about here today is the Chatbot. We'll be getting in a little bit more detail here, but we also have a couple of additional products. One is called CCAD, which is our centralized cloud administration dashboard, and that allows you to get some real-time insights into what your G Suite environment, license environment is doing. And then we also provide store locators. So with our maps lines of business, we're able to put store locators together from some of our customers, be able to help them utilize that maps technology a lot better. And then what we're talking about today is our Chatbot technology. So we've been talking with our customers. One of the things we hear quite often is, how can we use technology to make it more efficient and effective for our people to do their work? So in a lot of cases, chatbots will allow you to answer questions quickly, which may be frequently asked questions from your customers. It gives time back to your employees to then be able to do more value-added work. So you get a much better customer experience on one side, and you get efficiency for your employees on the other side. These chatbots are customizable. We have them provided where we can get up to 50 questions that you have frequently asked. You have the ability to tell us what those questions will be. You have the ability to change those questions at any point in time. And we have static and dynamic applications both being prepared for the chatbot. So it's something that we're seeing a lot of customers have quite a bit of interest in early on in their technology journey. And again, as a way to really enter into a technology discussion and see some real instant value, both for your customers and also for your employee base. And I'm going to actually then turn it over to our customer from Placer County and introduce Ben Palacio. And again, we've been working with Ben and his team to implement a chatbot into Placer County to allow them to make some changes that they're looking for on their digital transformation roadmap. So Ben, I'll turn it over to you to talk a bit about how you've been able to utilize Chatbot for Placer County.
Thank you. Again, my name is Ben Palacio with Placer County. Just before we start, I want to point out that the innovation of this chatbot solution was bleeding edge right at the beginning. Last year when we started with Dido, this was not 100% known, the path it was going to take, and we've had a lot of success with it. And Dido's been very, very open to working with us to accomplish that goal. Just some background before we continue. The chatbot was part of a bigger objective called e-services by our community development resource agency. And they had an objective to get as many different things out to the public as possible so that they could try to obtain services from the comforts of their homes, from their offices, from the backyard, from essentially anywhere they could pick up a phone and ask a question. And the final solution, what was decided is that we worked with Dido to establish a data repository where we store all of our questions. And in doing so, we were able to leverage Dido's ability to build us also a web user interface that we could put on our web page, as well as the Google Assistant and a few others. And only having one central point of contact for all the answers to our questions that we want to provide to the users. So before explaining all the different areas of what the Chatbot project entailed, I wanted to go ahead and just show everyone what it looks like. A lot of people don't understand, or it's misleading. So what I wanted to show you is an example. And in this example, it's going to show you both the static and dynamic intents and how it can guide you to what you might want to get to that's not necessarily in the chatbot itself. We'll go ahead and play a little clip.
Let's talk to Placer County.
Welcome to the Placer County Chat Assistant. Take a look at some examples of what you can ask me.
How can I schedule an inspection?
For information on how to schedule an inspection, you can call the inspection line at 530-745-3020, or you can visit the Citizen Access portal on the county website. Is there anything else I can help you with?
Once we've asked our question about how to schedule an inspection, the system comes back with a response and basic information. Below this information is a card. In this card is a button that takes us directly to the Citizen Access portal. In this portal, we can continue to move forward and schedule our inspection. If this is not what we're looking for, or we're done here, we can go up to the top, close the window, and we're right back in the application. Once back, we can ask additional questions. I'm going to proceed to ask a question about the zoning for my property. However, asking about the zoning for my property alone is not enough. It needs to know where the property is. The system understands this and will ask me for a street address. Once I provide the street address, it will go back to the Community Development Agency's systems and pull accurate zoning details back and provide them to me in a response. What is the zoning for my property?
Can I have the street address?
2700 Bell Road.
This address appears to fall within the Commercial Plan Development Zone. Would you like to look up another address?
No, thank you.
Is there anything else I can help with?
No, not at the moment.
Thanks for chatting with Placer County.
So what you saw there was both a static and a dynamic intent. Now the dynamic was important because it provided us a little more options where it could go back and access data dynamically, given some other additional information as you saw in the demonstration with the street address. The static information is the FAQs, and the FAQs, frequently asked questions, was most significantly the concept of managing them became a little large to think about. So what we did is we took upon ourselves on the back end at the county here to build an administration console so that we could also deploy this to other departments outside of the initial community development agency. So what you're seeing here is the history of a conversation, and the other component to this was how do we handle things that are missed? People are asking questions and not getting responses. And we needed a way to look at that and say, okay, we're gonna provide a better answer next time. Maybe we missed out on the first round, but we're gonna get better at it. This whole solution is a learning process, both at the AI level and also for us to guide users and residents to the right place at the right time. So again, this is an example of a list of all the frequently asked questions, and we built the data wrapped around a department. knowing that down the road we were going to deploy this to other departments in the county. And in doing this, we can also leverage that department column as a filter, so each department's only seeing their questions and not inundated with thousands and thousands and thousands of possible questions. So what Dido assisted us with initially was creating the data structure and really figuring out what the pieces were. Being so new to the environment, it wasn't completely understood, at least on my part, what all the different pieces of this response was. What was the response? So we came up with required elements that were necessary to make it function, and also some other very important pieces, such as a speech response versus a text response. And that was very hard for me to understand at the beginning, but then it became clear. And the other point of this is that we're able to leverage this data for both the Google Home devices as well as Google Assistant. The big difference there is obviously a Google Home device doesn't have a screen on it, so you're not going to get the text response. You're not going to get other things like you see here on the user interface, such as suggestion chips at the bottom, the suggestion options. You're not going to get the card layout that's at the middle where it says plan check and the more information button. Those were all pieces that were important to us to understand how they work and display properly. And working with Dido, we were able to build this web UI, and that was really a good start. The speech also allowed us to handle phonetics in some cases, where we could change words, scientific words, and things that weren't necessarily being pronounced correctly. I can't even pronounce them correctly, so it was kind of one of those things where we had to handle it differently, but show text on the screen the way we wanted it to be spelled correctly. The backside of it includes several components. Dialogflow is one of the major pieces that handles a lot of the natural language processing and understanding. The Google Assistant, as you saw in the demonstration, is from the user perspective, as well as the web user interface. On the backside of things, we have the Google Cloud Platform, the Actions on Google App Engine, where we're hosting the application. And what I mean by the application is there's a piece in the middle between the Dialogflow and the data that analyzes the information and processes it out correctly. That's stored in the App Engine. And data stores containing a list of all of our questions. And so that's where that happens. And the .NET Core and Python are just some languages that were used to develop the applications, both the web user interface and the administration functionalities. So what's next in the category of this solution type? So what we're looking at next is the possibility of implementing a building map kiosk with some voice response active responses using the dialogue interface. And with no further ado, I'll pass it on to Google.
Great, thanks, Ben. Yeah, so we're very excited about the implementation of Dialogflow and some of the other technologies. What's really enabling this is the ability to leverage conversational experiences. And you know, we've all been working in a world where there've been chatbots for the last several years. But one of the things that Dialogflow is helping customers and partners deliver is a better experience for customers as they engage with these natural language interfaces. And the reason we're able to provide that through Dialogflow is a lot of the underlying infrastructure that Google Cloud provides you. Behind the scenes, there's a lot of research and there's a lot of machine learning that happens to understand different entities, different contexts of conversations, and be able to surface that to a user in a meaningful way. And Dialogflow is the interface to kind of help get access to some of that machine learning and capabilities, things that will do things like the natural language understanding, the speech to text, and the text to speech. There's also its support for over 34 plus languages, so you can easily create a multi-channel or multilingual conversational experience for your users. We're working on Dialogflow to provide a bunch of different experiences, as Ben kind of highlighted, moving into a next phase where we could leverage this for a kiosk within the office facilities for constituents to come in and leverage. We're seeing within public sector a lot of interest in leveraging this for customer service, for engaging with constituents, and also service help desks to how do we help our employees get access to information or open service tickets or find out ways to process retirement benefits and things along those lines. We're also, as we're having a better understanding of conversational experiences, able to implement that in other devices across our world. So I think we ubiquitously see that with the Google Assistant on our actual devices, or if we're using a Google Home or Amazon Alexa, we're seeing the impact of conversational user experiences within our world. And I think we're going to continue to see that expand as we see natural language understanding and conversational experiences really expand and mature within the market. So it's actually a very exciting time for this technology to kind of see it in the world. And then we're also connecting the business to different employees, very similar to what we're seeing from providing organizational knowledge and surfacing those data insights. So those are some of the experiences that we're really focused on from a use case perspective within Dialogflow that we're seeing within public sector. So what is Dialogflow? There's obviously several other chatbot services or other things that you can provide, but really where we're focused on from a Dialogflow perspective is one, help you build faster. So we provide an easy interface for you to create your training phrases to leverage and provide machine learning to then come up with the different interactions where, I may say, hi, I would like to figure out the current zoning for my address, and somebody else will say, I was wondering what the zoning for my current address is. Running through those, all those different conversational paths that somebody could take is very arduous and difficult if you had to type all those things out. We will start training a machine learning model based on you providing just a few examples. So we recommend about 10 examples, and then we can handle multiple thousands of different variables in there. We also deliver 40 pre-built agents. So when you go into Dialogflow, there's a couple different scenarios, whether it's an agent for a coffee shop or an agent for ordering plane tickets to help desk requests. You can easily add these capabilities within your agent quickly. And it provides the underlying, it hides a lot of the complexity of the back-end service because it is running as a cloud service. You can go to market very simply and start with a lot of success. I think in this example, we were leveraging a capability called Knowledge Base, where you can bring in that Q&A and those questions and answers, and very quickly you're surfacing that organizational knowledge in a new way to your users. And so you can literally create a conversational agent within 5 to 10 minutes by leveraging Dialogflow. This is allowing us to engage efficiently. And so not only are we able to deploy this as a chatbot, we also have basically what we call an omni-channel experience, where we can deploy these virtual agents once they're up and running to phone call systems, to Slack channels, to Facebook Messenger. And so we provide the capability to engage across multiple different spectrums and multiple different channels. And so we also provide the ability to maximize your reach by supporting, it's actually not 14 languages, it's above 30 languages, and it depends on some of the experiences and some of the channels that you're leveraging, but broad support for multiple languages, and then also broad support for SDKs and different platform integrations. So if there's a certain channel, like a Facebook Messenger or a Slack or something that we're not integrated with, you can very easily integrate this into your existing applications or your existing tools. So some of the things that we're working on, and these were announced in the spring, and we expect some of these features to move into generally availability very, very soon, is our phone gateway. And so we will provide a way for you to attach a phone number to these and actually integrate calling scenarios. So folks can call your local 311 is a scenario that we see a lot of folks looking to deploy within Dialogflow, so that you can provide a phone gateway and have folks call and ask questions and work through that. We'll also do automatic spelling correction, so you can turn on spelling correction, and we'll spell correct things if people are typing and it's a chatbot and they appear to have scrunched and missed a space. We will try our best to match those spelling corrections or improve those, and then have further matching to the intents of the user. So that's one that should help out a lot. We're also having knowledge connectors, and that's what we saw that was being done with Dido and Placer County. Is you maintain a central user interface of FAQs, and you may surface those through websites or through documents, and the knowledge connector can go out and ingest those, and so they become part of your virtual agent. So then you just have multiple new channels to put that information out. We're also working on things like sentiment analysis. So when users are interacting with your agent, your virtual agent, we are constantly looking at the sentiment of what they're saying. I think we've all had bad experiences when we're working with virtual, whether it's chatbots or call center software. We will constantly do the sentiment analysis on each interaction. So if it meets a certain threshold, you can make a decision to maybe bounce that user over to a live agent, or figure out that you've taken them down the wrong path as part of this virtual agent. So you can also look at your sentiment analysis over time to see that traditionally, if people are asking about certain paths, maybe they're having issues figuring out permitting issues with their home, that the sentiment seems to be lower on that path and that conversation. And so then you can invest time to actually improve that experience for your users, so that hopefully you can start having higher sentiment when folks interact with your virtual agent. We're also supporting built-in text-to-speech. So everything that comes in through a textual manner, whether it's Google Assistant or through the phone gateway, is actually taking from speech to text, and then we are also providing now text back to speech. One of the things that we're excited about too is last week we actually announced the general availability of what we call Contact Center AI. And so the Contact Center AI has three core components. One is the virtual agent. The virtual agent is really the back-end system of Dialogflow. And the focus of Contact Center AI is to help bring virtual agents into the call center. So if you're operating or managing any kind of call center or things along those lines, it's very easy to create your virtual agents and bring those into your call center software, whether you're using like a Genesis or a Via. That's kind of the target market for Contact Center AI. It'll also do agent and topic modeling so that your live agents can start seeing what the interactions were of the user with the virtual agent. They also can have direct access to the knowledge base. So as the customer or the user that they're talking with, it is looking at the topics and the things that the user is talking about and discussing, and it's pulling forward some of that knowledge base and some of that FAQ. So it's going to make it much easier for the call center software agent to actually respond and answer much quicker. And so that's a piece that's also there with Agent Assist. So Agent Assist is going to provide much more real-time answers to the agent to provide back to the user if they've moved over to Live Agent Assist. So we're very excited about Contact Center AI. We have a couple go-to-market partners. So if you have call center software already in your environment, that may be something that you want to look at. And with that, I would like to thank you for your time, and I think we're going to go to questions. So if you have any questions, feel free to enter them, and I will read them back, and we will go from there. All right, we have one question. The question is about being able to share the recording. Will we be able to share the recording? Tammy or Samantha, did you want to take that one?
Yes, absolutely. We'll be able to share this recording.
Great. Thank you. One more question came in. What other opportunities do you see with Chatbot in your county? Ben, do you want to take that one?
Yeah, sure. As I mentioned, we're really looking at how to add chat functionality to a kiosk environment. What people often do when they walk into a government facility is they don't know where they need to go. They just know what they want to do. The big one that we can think of here, because in our building is also the clerk recorder's office, is I need to file a marriage license. A lot of people don't know the government terminologies, such as the various offices, auditor, controllers, financial, the assessor's office is where you go about property issues. So that's where we can see some utilization of the dialogue flow component and the synonyms to find other ways to get to the more technical terminology. I hope that answers it for you.
Great, thanks for the question. Thanks, Ben. All right. Matt says thank you, and I think it did answer the question. All right, are there any other questions from any of the folks on the line? Okay, well, I think that is all we have for questions today.
And with that, we'll wrap up the webinar. Really appreciate everyone joining us today. And thank you again, Ben, so much for joining us. And John, thank you for taking your time from your work with Google and walking us through the technology. Really appreciate that. And if there are any additional questions, you can feel free to reach out to us, DytoWeb. We've been more than happy to follow up with any additional information you may be interested in after reviewing our information in this webinar. So enjoy the rest of your day, and thank you very much again for your time.